What's going on, guys? TKD12 with the back review, and today I've had a pretty busy weekend. A lot of things happened, and this was, this been happening a few days, into this video, of course. But I just want to give all, my overall impressions, overall thoughts on the new rumors about Call of Duty 2017. Now, we all know, if you are, somewhat involved in the Call of Duty, you guys are aware of all this. You guys know that COD 2017 is going to be a huge changer and huge, really, I guess, Call of Duty redefining moment, in the series, if you can say that, because Call of Duty has never been, this, I guess, low, this lackluster, this just nobody talking about Call of Duty, really, as opposed to this year. Now, this year has been the absolute worst for that. Like, just there's not a lot of Infinite Warfare content, just because a lot of people are not turned on by the game. And even with the introduction, of COD Modern Warfare Remastered, which, a lot of people thought, even I thought, was going to be kind of like the, like the saving grace for this year, if you want kind of a boots on the ground experience, stuff like that. And that, kind of went to the wayside and not really fulfilled on what it was going to do, with the, introduction of, supply drops and new weapons. And a lot of people have a kind of conflicted view on, whether if there should be even new stuff being introduced to Modern Warfare Remastered, because then at that point, like, is it really COD 4 still? Like, there's camos that wasn't there, there's, weapons that weren't there on the best game. Like, at that point, when you derive so far from the base game, like, is that really the same game, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot, talks about that. And overall, it's just been kind of a really big down year for Call of Duty in 2016. But with COD 2017, we have a bunch of new things going on here. For one, like, we've already said before in the channel, it is Sledgehammer Games' turn. And the importance of that, is not really in the name, not really in their kind of, I guess, pedigree, because if you look at the pedigree, they worked on, I believe the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer, which again wasn't, the best in my opinion. And then also they worked on Advanced Warfare, which again wasn't the best in my opinion. But, just driving, far back from their pedigree, right? If we look at, not in terms of also their name, but look at, where they were in the Call of Duty cycle, right? So they were the first ones to introduce the advanced movement, right? And I feel like the outcry of it wasn't really that big in Advanced Warfare, but we just kind of hated the game in general. It just felt like, like a lot of people just didn't really like the game. But this was definitely the origins of the hate for the advanced movement, right? Then they got better with Black Ops 3. I'll admit, Black Ops 3 was great. I love Black Ops 3. I'm a big fan of that. And I feel like overall, I feel like a lot of people didn't really focus in on the advanced movement part, but mainly focus in on kind of the supply drop part of that, where they definitely had a negative backlash, and outcry, I guess, against the drop movement, right? And then we get here to Infinite Warfare, where it is the all-time lowest low. It is the it is both arguments on side, whether you are discussing supply drops, whether you are discussing advanced movement, it is the worst of the both. Against I feel in the overall scheme of things. Now, of course, you may have a different opinion, that's absolutely fine, but I'm talking, I think, from a, viewer of YouTube, from a viewer of, these COD channels that used to be really big back in the day, just overall from a general standpoint here, definitely this is the lowest year on both of those fronts. And, with that being said, also, where they are placed in the Call of Duty cycle, it is good because they were the first ones to do it, right? They are the ones that are going to have the most amount of time to insinuate a change. They have been able to look back and see, the outcry, and see that, the overall COD community does not want this anymore. Like, we don't really want advanced movement. Like, we don't want futuristic settings anymore. Like, we want to go back to a more, I guess, grounded, more, just gritty time, as opposed to this crazy, outcry of the future, where it's like a bunch of different things that, we can't relate to, we can't tie back to, stuff like that. So definitely, they have had definitely the most time to sit out here, and they, are most likely going to bring us a, old style Call of Duty. And it seems to be true, coming out of a bunch of news here that we got this weekend. This article comes from charlieintel.com, and basically here we have a YouTuber called The Family Video Gamers that said that he posted a video of a bunch of these images of apparently what leads to be the marketing and the promotion and the artwork for the next Call of Duty in 2017. And the artwork is leading a lot of people, and really does really does say, honestly, actually literally does say Call of Duty World War II, and that they're saying that this is going to be the title for the Call of Duty 2017, and it will be I guess Sledgehammer's next installment in the Call of Duty series. Along with that, we also got some looks at the Steelbook case. So maybe this is going to be the return of the high tier editions that we got back in the day with Call of Duty, and I think that only skipped out, I believe, believe it stopped, maybe Black Ops 3. I'm not even sure when they stopped doing the you know, steel casings, but it looks like here that we have a steel case for one of the editions for this new Call of Duty World War II. Let's just call it that, just because we have here in the article. But again, this is not confirmed at all. But you know, when you look at it now, you know, just to preface, I'm not going to put this in the video just because I'm afraid of getting flagged by Activision. Activision, please, I'm just talking, right? I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not going to put on the video. But I know last time I talked about some, you know, leaked stuff, I got my channel, not my channel, but my video flagged down. So definitely not going to show any pictures here of this, what I'm talking about. But, you know, like I always say, Google is your friend. Now, going back to all of this, right? We have the steelbook cases, and they look really good. They look really clean. They look really, you know, polished. They don't look amateur at all, in my opinion, at least. You know, maybe I feel like, I guess the main artwork, like that looks like a poster, it looks kind of like it could be fake, right? It looks a little bit amateur, you know, a little bit, right? But a lot of people are saying that, you know, these are original assets. You know, these aren't, you know, from other posters or in the pictures. Like, these are original, you know, drawings and, you know, actual artwork being made here. So with that being said here, you know, with the overall kind of polish of all these things, and with the overall, you know, clear cut of the steelbook and everything, like, a lot of people are leaning to believe that, you know, this is legit, like, this is an actual legit thing. And a lot of people are saying also in the reports that, you know, Activision would have taken down their stuff on Reddit, whatever. And it was confirmed, you know, on the actual Reddit website, you know, that a lot of people were getting their stuff taken down of these leaks. But, you know, since then it has been kind of been just wide open. A lot of people have been able to post freely. I'm not gonna take my chances on it. I'm not gonna do it, but you know, feel free to go ahead if you want to, and I definitely do Google if you want to see these images that I'm talking about. But initial post of these, you know, leaked wallpapers and the steelbook casing was on Reddit, you know, at first, and those first posts got struck down by Activision and stuff like that. But, you know, leading on to the next few hours, next few days, you know, there wasn't really a lot of, I guess, flagging going on. I feel like, you know, you could easily readily find these pictures and everything, and even on YouTube and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe they have just, you know, backed off on this, not because it's false, but maybe because that it's just grown, you know, too widespread. Like, there's no point in you know, issuing all these copyright claims, whatever, if, you know, pretty much the majority of people have already seen this stuff. So it definitely feels like, you know, this is somewhat real in that sense, but, you know, kind of off base, because usually we would see a ton of Activision taking down people's videos. But, you know, back to, you know, some other stuff we want to talk about here. I want to kind of, you know, touch base, you know, and look back on stuff that has been tweeted from Michael Condrey, the head of the studio, and you know, the Activision CEO and stuff like that, that is on the article here as well. You know, saying, if you look back, right, back in 2014, Condrey acknowledged that, you know, he would have liked to see a World War II setting. You know, like, he enjoys the setting, he likes that time in history, I guess. You know, like, he likes the overall kind of historic feel to World War II, so he definitely has interest in there as well. So that definitely shows through, and, you know, it kind of is in line with these leaks as well. And even going on with a interview from IGN with Eric Hirschberger, the Activision Publishing CEO, you know, they asked him, you know, what are the chances and what, you know, is a possibility of World War II coming back in Call of Duty. And he said that it is certainly possible, is the thing that, you know, they will, you know, is definitely a thing that could happen, he said. And maybe, you know, they were over here alluding to this final thing here that we're getting here in these leaks, and that is that Call of Duty 2017 will actually be, you know, happening in 2017. You know, with the introduction of Call of Duty World War II. Now, you know, if you ask me, you know, hey Kev, like, which style would you like, right? You know, would you like a, you know, futuristic Call of Duty, or, you know, a older Call of Duty? Like, what do you like, right? Now, in terms of me, right, I feel like, you know, an overall, like, in a Call of Duty game, right, I feel like the setting doesn't necessarily matter. Now, you know, there are things that you can argue, right, saying that, hey, if it's in the future, you're more likely to have advanced movement, stuff like that, and in the past, you're most likely to not have advanced movement, obviously, because there wasn't any advanced movement in the past, obviously. But, you know, just speaking in terms of just, you know, the overall, I guess, you know, feeling and gameplay of it, right, I feel like in terms of the feeling and the gameplay of it, the setting doesn't really matter in that point, right? Because I feel like, you know, when everyone says that, oh, they don't like, you know, the futuristic Call of Duties, they're not talking about the setting necessarily. They're just talking about the advanced movement, really, is what the issue is. It's not really so much, you know, the overall setting. And of course, you know, one could say that, hey, you know, advanced movement and the future go hand in hand, just like boots in the ground in the past go hand in hand as well. So obviously, you know, there could be an argument made there, right? But I feel like the general kind of, I guess, you know, argument here is that, you know, when the game takes place, like when the Call of Duty takes place, doesn't necessarily matter in that, you know, same way. I feel like if they said, hey, we're gonna make a futuristic Call of Duty but with no advanced movement, I feel like no one would have an issue with that. I feel like that would be okay, right? Because the main, you know, focal point of this whole thing is, I feel, I guess, kind of that you know, the issue lies within the advanced movement and not necessarily you know, the actual setting of the game. Now, of course, there's a whole nother battle with, you know, drops that we can talk about, which I want to make it to kind of like another video here, talking about supply drops more in depth, just because I hate supply drops, guys. I don't like them. Okay, I started playing Call of Duty back in Modern Warfare 2, and I went back and played World at War and COD 4 back in, you know, their kind of, I guess, you know, deep days where they weren't really that popular, and I have played Modern Warfare 2 on, and ever since I've gotten every Call of Duty at launch. And you know, I humbly and like firmly agree that I feel like supply drops, you know, were bad to be introduced. In a way, they were bad, and just that it's not that, you know, they're necessarily bad. I feel like the way it was implemented and how it's being used now is just we're gonna talk about that in our video, whatever. But beside that point, what do you guys think of Call of Duty World War II? Do you guys like this? Do you guys think that this is where you want it? Do you guys, you know, want this, you know, now? Whatever, let me know down in the comments below. And while you're done, make sure to check out my description. You can follow my Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, follow me on all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.